G'day my friends, Marty Ware here from Marty's Garden. In today's video what I want to talk about is living standards, Australian living standards. They've dropped extremely low. I saw something, it was on Channel 9 or Channel 7 just recently. Did a 5-part series all about Australian living standards, right through from housing, food, cost prices, lots of things. And one of the things that they mentioned was, now get this, Australian living standards dropped to as low as the 1950s. Now, I was born in 1967. I'm now 57 years young, and you know, I'm feeling pretty good. I've got a few little things that I carry from motorbike accidents and surfing incidents and illnesses, and like all of us. But I wish that I had a time machine to go back and look at those times, because I don't think they had the housing problems that we had, and I don't think you had the governments that were just wanting to be so controlling over us. We saw that, you know, in that recent event where they shut us all down, right? State to state to state. We saw that, well, I saw personally, I thought the Prime Minister had a lot more power and would be able to take some control and say, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that. But apparently they haven't got much power at all from state to state. It's like each state's its own little mini country now. It really sort of woke me up. And I'm like, wow. So there's going to be a big difference possibly in the future of what state you even live in, of how much control and the regime of the person that you voted in. Because there's things that go through, let's be honest here, right? There's stuff that goes through that we haven't voted for. Yeah? We didn't vote for it. I know there's stuff that's gone through that I didn't vote for. Lots of things. And I didn't even know that they were coming up. I mostly voted, and I don't want to get into political things, but I mostly put my vote towards, in the last recent one, to do with the housing issues. And that never come to be, you know. So I'm concerned. You know, that's why I've been making these videos. And I did bring one out recently about survivalism. I think that's probably you know, my words aren't always that great. Probably not the best thing. I think more really I should be saying that we need to become more self-reliant, more self-sufficient, and less reliant on the government and their handouts and things, because it always ends up becoming worse once they do a big handout, because it just pushed inflation up and all these things. And our cost of living is just, it's really, really hard. And my heart goes out to so many people. You know, look, let's put it this way. We are very blessed to live in Australia. Let's not forget that. But the governments are letting us down as far as cost of living standards are going. And they're not really looking at the real issues. The things that come out this year and the policies, I was just like, wow, is that... Oh, are they serious about that? I'm like, come on, man. There's 1 million people in Australia going without food at the moment. They can't put enough food on their plates. And so what do? They go for like cheaper, more processed foods and bring down the value, you know, of stuff they want. You're walking, I mentioned this the other day, you're walking through the shopping aisle and you're like, far out, man, how much is it going to be today? You know, it used to be a nice experience going shopping and organising what you got to cook. So if the living standards, if this is right, and the living standards have dropped down to the 1950s, from my point of view of looking at history, I think it's probably even worse, because like I said, we didn't have these other issues that were compounding around us. Housing and everything was still quite available, you know, was available, I believe. And we didn't have like all this conformity of mobile phones and computers and all things. People used to play outside and absolutely enjoy themselves and live life, and families were more together. Now they're getting more broken up and splitting apart. And I find that really, really sad that rate of divorce is really high. And as we come into these cost of living issues based around money, that probably puts more pressure on families and things, and more pressure on the relationships of whatever type of relationship or wherever you are, whether you're married or in a relationship where you're engaged and you're talking about the future. This is really quite a problem. Now, those who have been watching the channel, you know that I invented the Victory Garden, which is behind us here, and we're just about to start putting all the plants up onto the trellises, because they're growing all over now and vining all over. So we'll get them up onto the trellises really soon. They're all container gardens on top of bales. You can see the bales over the back there. They're for building a special type of no-dig garden, whether you're on sand, clay, heavy rock. It works. You can grow food. But look, I'd love to hear what you think about the standard of livings and where you're at. I've been speaking a lot about farming, and I got it wrong that the average age is not 58, it's 67 for the farmers. Now, think about this. If an average, that's over the Australian retirement age, right? 65, I think it was 60 and 65, and I think they're just going to keep pushing it up higher and higher. So someone mentioned someone, I won't mention a name, but if you're watching this, you know who you are, and said, farmers aren't retiring in Australia, they're just dropping dead. Now, put it this way. You're a young man, you're farming, you're loving it, you're enjoying it, you're getting out there, you know, you go, I'm going to produce some food and get it out to the Australian people, and they'll really love it, and you're really proud of what you're doing. And as you're getting older and you're getting more screwed by the monopolies and things like that, and you're looking at your future self going, oh man, I don't know where I'm going to be in 5-10 years. I don't think I'll ever be able to retire. The wife's had to go out and get a job to bring money in, and you're just keeping the thing going until eventually you just go, well, I just can't retire. And so it ends up becoming that you just pass away on your farm, still working. But you know, as we get older, we have less and less energy. You know, we have more wisdom. So if we've got more help around us and we can afford to get the help around us, we can know how to manage these people and what needs to be done accordingly on the farm. But our strength that we have slowly sort of dissipates away, and we just can't do what we used to do. Even at my age now, 57, I'm still quite physically fit. I can do a lot of things around this garden, but there'd be a lot of stuff if I went back out into work in agriculture again that I don't think I could do like I used to be able to when I was a young man, like picking macadamias all day. That was one of the hardest jobs I've ever done, believe it or not, underneath trees and just picking up these big bags and moving around. And when I first got into working in Macca's, and that was hard work, man. I've done brickies labouring, and that was right up there with that. I don't think I could do a day of that. I'd probably last 3-4 hours. I'll be done and dusted. And so, you know, we've got these problems that are spiralling around us, and I've been mentioning in the content that I think we need to look at old ideas and modernize them and bring them into the kitchens, into our houses, into our homes, and look at efficient ways that we can do things together. You might buy something in bulk, sit down as a family in front of the TV, and maybe prepare something in some type of way where you can put it into jars, maybe ferment it, all those type of things. Or, you know, look, I'm not really a homesteading expert in those areas. I'm still learning a lot of that myself. But I feel that that's the way we need to get going. We need to reskill ourselves, not rely on the things that we're not voting for, and really take more control into our lives. If you haven't seen the Victory Garden series, you know, it's things that sometimes a little bit slow with them coming out because we're waiting stuff to grow and things like that. But once I sort of get all these vines up and we sort of sort some things out, I'll have another video coming out for that soon. So if you haven't seen that, there'll be links down in the description. I'll leave a card around here somewhere for you to watch, and you'll be able to watch that series and start learning how to grow food in containers and small spaces, and really get psyched for the V for Victory, because if you look at Victory Garden, it's got a lot of history here in Australia and across the globe, and we can take control of what's ahead. All right, have a great day. Happy gardening. We'll see you at the next video real soon. Bye for now.